Thank you, boys, for both coming.
That's
I
okay.
really appreciate that you making some time for this. I've spoken to you both earlier on today and explained what's going to happen, and you've both agreed to come. Let me just remind you that I'm here acting as a mediator. That means I'm not going to take sides. I'm not assuming anything about what's happened. I'm not making judgments, judging you to be good or bad people. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm simply here to listen and to encourage you both to listen to each other.
Yep.
And then hopefully find a way forward so you can put this behind you. And that was what you've both said you'd like to do. All right? So during the conversation with Ed, Dan, he was willing to let you start. So I'm going to ask you to tell us what happened.
Well, we went to have an integrated lesson, and like we walked in, we had about 10, and I just like wanted to I just wished it never happened. So I felt like frustrated with myself as well.
So how have things been in the past between you?
Well, we've never saw eye to eye that much.
Right. But things haven't come to this before?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Well, Ed, thanks again for listening. It's over to you now to tell us what happened.
Well, we was in integrated when it happened. We was just doing our work, and then Dan must have thought I said something about his little brother, which I didn't, and then he called me a pikey, and I said, say it to my face, and then he's come and said it to my face, and then been fine. We've been had little hiccups, but nothing major.
Okay. Thank you.
That's great.
Dan, thanks for listening. So what I'm going to do now is come back to both of you again, like we did when we were talking one-to-one, to think about the impact of this. And do you remember I said to you it's a bit like a pebble in a pond and the ripples? So I'm going to ask that question to you first of all, Dan. Who do you think has been affected by what's happened between you?
The people in our class.
How?
Because I kind of think they treat us differently to how they used to.
Differently?
Yeah, kind of, they're not scared of us, but they just treat us differently. It seems like that, like a little bit nervous sometimes.
Go on, who else has been affected?
Miss Parker, because I don't think, like Ed said, she's not the biggest of people, and we was when we was fighting, I think we just got kind of scared her. She I think she treats us differently.
I mean, it would have perhaps been a good idea to have invited her to the meeting here, but unfortunately she wasn't able to be free at this point, so this might be something that we come back to. Yeah, so thanks for that. Who else?
Miss Summons, because she said she was... Oh, no, sorry. That was actually in the original.
Right, yes, yeah.
No, Miss Summons, because I feel in year 7 and 8, I was quite bad, and this year I just wanted to have a really good year, and now I feel like I've kind of failed it.
Who else has been affected?
Me and Ed.
How?
Now we're not not so bad with each other, we're getting on quite well. Sometimes we could just be walking past some stupid immature people, and they'll just be shouting fight and things like that.
So things have changed between you?
Yeah, and my mum and dad.
Go on.
Because they don't treat me differently, but I just don't feel like they have the amount of trust that they used to.
So it's affected a lot of people, this, hasn't it? Yeah. Okay. Okay, well, we'll come back and look at how we can, what we might need in order to address some of those issues. But I'll come over to you, Ed, now and ask you the same question. Who do you think has been affected by what's happened?
Well, I think my family and Dan's family, and Miss Summons, Miss Parker, and Mr. Williams.
Tell me about your family. How have they been affected?
Because basically I feel like I failed them, because they don't need the stress again, from my old school.
Go on.
And they don't like saying the stress with the old school. They just wanted turn over a new leaf, and not me getting into so much trouble. And I feel like I failed myself as well.
Thank you for that. Thanks for listening, Dan. Yeah. So failure, something Dan said as well. And who else?
Miss Parker, she must have felt scared when it happened. And she don't need it because she's got 30 odd people to look after in the class. So if it all kicks off, she ain't going to be able to do much issue. So she must have felt really scared.
Who else?
Miss Summons, she must think that, I think I failed Miss Summons because Summons has been trying to support me in settling into the new school and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah. Who else has been affected?
Mr. Williams, because Mr. Williams has given up his free time and he's been trying to support me in stuff before.
So you mentioned your family, various teachers. Who else?
Dan's family, because they don't really need the stress with their newborn baby and stuff like that. And with me and Dan's history.
Who else?
Myself, because I've failed myself in a way, because it's not going to help me with this now. It's on my record. It's going to be on jobs, and people are going to want somebody who's got anger management problems and working in an environment to help people and stuff, because it could kick off.
Anyone else?
Dan and his family have been affected.
And how's Dan been affected, do you think?
Because he's going stuff with his brother, and he really doesn't need the stress with school and that, and his brother on his case.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for that, Ed. So I'd like to move now into thinking about what you both need in order to move on from this. Dan, what about you? What would you like? What do you need to feel better?
I think me and Ed should maybe start some team building kind of groups. Get along better.
So what you need back is a friendship.
Yeah.
But maybe with some support for that, maybe. Okay. Anything else? Anything you need from Ed?
No.
Okay. All right. Ed, what about you? What do you need from this?
I'd like to build the friendship up, so team building exercises, and I'd like an apology from you, Dan.
Okay. All right. So, and can I just tease out a little bit? If you were to get an apology from Dan, and that's obviously up to Dan, what would that mean for you? What would?
It would mean a great deal of. It would mean that we could progress our friendship more, and we could do some more team building exercises.
And that what is that apology telling you? What would that apology tell you?
To say that he's sorry for what he's said and what he's done.
Right. So it's almost like an acknowledgement, really, then of the misunderstanding. That's what's in it. Yeah. And obviously we'll have to see whether Dan wants to do that. But what you need is some kind of acknowledgement from Dan about the misunderstanding.
Yeah.
And that he feels bad about it, that he regrets it.
Yeah.
All right. And you also would like the friendship.
Yeah,
I'd love that. Okay, thank you. Do you know what I'm going to do, boys, right now? Because this is your meeting. What happened, it belongs to you, and what happens in the future belongs to you. So I'm going to sit back a little bit and just invite you to think about. You both said that you like to develop the friendship, and Ed, you've also made a request from Dan. What could you do now?
Shake hands.
Shake hands.
Do you want to talk a little bit more about?
Dan could give me an apology.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
That's okay, Dan.
Does that feel okay?
Yes.
And you said you wanted to shake hands. So feel free. What about the friendship? What you both said you needed a bit of help with that. What you got some ideas?
Yeah, we've had a discussion, and we just want to basically carry it on. So we do some activities together.
Yeah, like
team building exercises.
Ed does like gym and stuff like that with the teachers.
Mm.
Like instead of like the support like centre kind of thing.
Mm.
And like we thought it'd be good if we went together. Something like that.
Thank you, boys. What often happens at the end of these kind of meetings is that we have a form called a restorative meeting form, which I can fill some of it in after the meeting. It's my name, what the meeting was held, where it was, when it was. But there's partly here the bit about what you've both agreed. And I'm wondering if you'd like to guide me, Dan. What have you agreed to? First of all, do you want you both said you'd like me to write the form? Yeah. Okay. No problem.
Be civil.
Mm-hmm. And what does that mean? Tell me what you mean by civil.
Like just get on without any arguments.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So be civil and get on without arguments. What would you do if you thought an argument was bubbling under? Next time.
Don't know.
Is this what you want the support for?
Yeah.
Okay. So you also said that you'd like to go to Mr. Williams and get some support. Yes. Okay. Anything else?
No.
Ed, what have you agreed to?
Get some support,
Mm-hmm.
and then do some team building exercises, and hopefully be friends.
Mm. Okay. Thank you. Right. How are you feeling now, Dan?
Better.
Mm-hmm.
I feel a lot better now we've had the discussion.
Yeah. Well, thank you both very much indeed. I'm going to draw the meeting to a close, but suggest that possibly we meet again in a few weeks' time. How long do you think you want to leave it, Dan, just to see how it's going?
Maybe a month, maybe.
Yeah, about the same.
Mm.